What's up, everybody? Matt Nuzzo. We're here at Reel to talk to you about the Armstrong foils. So Armstrong is a brand out of New Zealand, and they're making some seriously high-end, high-quality surf, kite, sup, downwind foil, pump foil, foils. So Army Armstrong is the designer. It's the main man behind it. They got a bunch of other crew with them that's they're working with the New Zealand America's Cup boat designers, foil designers. They're working with some of the ozone kite designers. They're working with a bunch of people to make a really high-end product. What Army was doing is he said he's been foiling for a long time, and everything he had kept breaking, corroding, seizing together, just kept completely messing up on him. And he's like, I'm over it. I'm gonna do my own thing. I'm gonna make my own stuff. All right, so here we have a complete lineup of some really awesome foil equipment. So what makes this so unique and awesome is to understand the ride when you ride one of these foils. So I'm an intermediate surf foiler. I've been surf foiling for a year. I can get up, I can go around, can pump around, can have a good time and go and surf foil. I'm by no means a top level pro. I'm riding small waves. I'm not chasing down towing waves or whatever. I've talked to a bunch of people that have these, that do all that type of stuff, so I have a good perspective on the high end of the kiting and the high end of the surf foiling and stuff like that, that I can relay the information back to you. But that's not me. I'm not that guy. But for me, riding this foil, first time I hopped on this foil, the first thing I noticed was how stable the foil was. I was just like, it felt like my board was made out of something different. It was like, I hop up on the foil and just whammo, like just immediately have more stability, more speed, go through white water, no flutter or bump or whatever it was. It was just immediate improvement. There was no adjustment period, no kind of fix it, do this, there was absolutely no adjustment, just got out there and just went foiling. It was like amazing. Like I just immediately improved. Pumping, immediately improved. Like everything just immediately improved. So I was like, well, that's pretty cool. Well, let's talk to Army and figure out what's going on with this foil to make it so unique. So in this foil lineup, we have right here in my hands, this is the CF 1200. This is your kind of all-around surf foil. It also works for a light wind kite foil, but this is kind of what most people are riding as their dedicated surf foil. Here you have the CF 800 wing. This is the kite wing, but also this is what people have been using for tow foiling. So for bigger surf and just real big kind of swell, high speed. You've got the CF 800. Has these weird downturns because it helps with the higher speed, which is different than the speeds you're riding some of these other wings at. Then we're going to go up to the 1600. So this is a real small wave foil, or you can use it for sups. A lot of people are using this as their dedicated sup foil. And then finally, you have the 2400, this is like a airplane wing. It's crazy. And this is for flat water pumping, open ocean, downwind gliding, just kind of going out on a foil, hopping up on foil and gliding through the ocean. So you've got a full range of wings here. All the wings do come, each wing has its own padded cover. Oh yeah, I cannot forget the 300 back wing. So there's one tail wing, that's the same tail wing for all the different front wings. There's one tail wing, which they have here. But each one of these wings is gonna have a padded cover. You can also see that it has a padded sleeve for the mast, and then it comes with also a padded bag. So when I'm looking at this foil, there's a bunch of very unique design characteristics that Army wanted to address in dealing with his kiteboarding, with his surf foils. So one was the corrosion, right? So anyone that's foiled knows that, hey, you got to take the screws out, you got to put the the lube on there, you got to do all this stuff to make sure your foil doesn't seize together. Well, Army said, hey, titanium doesn't corrode. So I'm just going to put a titanium rod through the center of the fuselage and then just wrap it in a carbon tube. Problem solved. So then you're screwing stainless screws into titanium, titanium inserts in here, or titanium inserts in the rear wing. And what that does is the stainless is a little softer metal than the titanium, and that stainless actually gives you more bite. So he said it's kind of like having Loctite on your screws. It gives you a little more bite, the stainless into titanium. And having this titanium fuselage also double duties is that you have a very skinny fuselage off the back. So you look at the fuselage right here, super skinny, right? And that skinny fuselage is going to allow you to have less turbulence coming over the back wing. So he said it's one of the things that adds to that real stable feeling. So then you look at the front of this fuselage and you're like, that's pretty weird. Well, wait till you see how this thing goes in. So we got our 72 centimeter mast. So he's got two main masts, 72 centimeters, 28.5 inches, or the 85 centimeter, which is like 33 inches. Okay, so assembly, slides in like that, locked in, super locked in. Front wing, slides on like that, no mallets, no nothing needed. Drop a few screws in the bottom, and that thing is just rock solid. There's just absolutely no motion once you crank that thing together. You know, and it's just like, you know, oh, that makes sense. Again, came from a boat building design, and he basically just morphed that into what he was doing here. This mast is the really unique part, okay? So what they are talking about here, you got a full carbon mast. And this mast here, you can see it's wider at the top, tapered at the bottom. Okay, it's full carbon mast, has a wood core, and the reason they're using wood core is that the carbon fiber has to have certain directional layups to give them the rigidity and the flex of which they want. It has to go onto a wood core because that allows the carbon fibers to lay up right. This makes no sense to me. I'm not an engineer, I'm not a designer. Sounds great, Army. The product works killer, so I trust you. I'll take your word on it. For someone that actually knows about design and knows about boat building or foil building, then you could probably email Army and he'll tell you all you want to know about it because the guy's really bright. But to me, as the bystander, I'm just telling you what he told me, and this is, you know, making a really, really high quality product. So what he said is you want to have it really stiff at the top, so you're going to have a wider base and have it really stiff, and then you're going to have some flex down at the bottom. He called it dynamic reactive flex. Again, doesn't mean much to me, but the little he told me about it is that, hey, at the bottom you want it to flex, but you want it to come right back to that same spot as quick as it can, okay? So that, I think, is what a dynamic reactive flex is, that it's gonna flex out and then come right back to where it was. It's not gonna flex this way and flex that way and waver around, so that you have, basically what that is kind of like your shock absorbers, where it's gonna absorb some of that white water and it's gonna come right back and be true right to spot. So it's not gonna be bucking you around. What you translate to is you just ride and it just goes through foam, white water, wake wash, whatever it is. Also, the taper, when it comes down here, said, hey, the width of the top is going to give you that stiffness, but then you taper, if you had that carried that width all the way to the bottom, it's like having a big fin that's impeding your turning. So by decreasing the width at the bottom is going to allow you to increase your turning radius and do faster turns side to side. Very cool, very simple setup. Other few things that they do here, put a little foam pad on here just to protect your board. Pretty unique setup. And you can see here they've got titanium nuts. These are actually flipped around. They actually, for shipping, they ship it like this to protect the ends. But this piece actually flips around, goes in this little insert here. Again, stainless screw, titanium T-nuts. Anyone that's putting their logo and designing their own hardware, I mean, come on, like, you can't beat that. Like, these guys are paying very, very high attention to detail. And that's really what you're getting with the Armstrong foil, is the highest quality attention to detail. In the different setups, they come in complete kits, but it's a fully modular setup, right? So you can buy, buy all the parts and pieces to customize one to your setup, but they do have kits, and then they have multi-wing kits where you're getting a discount on the additional wings when you're getting those. So most popular surf foil is going to be the 1200. That's going to be an all-around great surf foil, and it's also going to double duty for light wind kite foil. When you want to have a dedicated kite foil, you can go with the 800, or something that's going to be better for gliding, go the 1600. Really, the 2400 really is only for that flat water pumping. We actually had a friend of mine said, yeah, I was actually foiling behind a jet ski in a no wake zone going 5 miles an hour. The jet ski was going 5.6 miles an hour, riding the 2400 on the tiny little wake in a no wake zone behind, somewhere down in Florida behind a jet ski. It's like, okay, cool, like, that makes sense. Like, you can get out there on those huge wings and get after it. Final accessory comes with, the complete kits are going to come with a bag. You've got your instruction set up here with, with your baseline instruction. It does come with hardware. Comes with they've got a torque driver, a T30 torque driver comes involved. All the design characteristics of the setup is really simple. Basically all the hardware goes right in here. You've got your hardware pack, you've got some extra screws. It does come with a 0-degree shim. This is a titanium shim. It's a 0-degree shim. They do have additional shims for change in performance. Again, a lot of people aren't changing these up unless you're really at that top level. But the cool thing with the Armstrong foil that I've found is that These are designed, you know, at first I thought it was going to be like a premium high-end, because most of the people I was talking to are kiting big waves and they're surfing big waves. They're, you know, kind of using these things at the top level. Until I got on it myself as an intermediate, I was like, oh, these are going to be good, really good high-end advanced foils. When I rode it, I was like, this is the best foil to teach on, because it's so stable and so easy to ride. So it really is that awesome foil to learn on, and then you're going to be able to grow into it and never have a performance drawback on that. So they call it, their design spec on it is calling it future-proof. So they call it a future-proof setup, meaning that this is fully modular, right? The mast, the fuselage, none of this stuff is going to change, right? It's not going to go out of style. They worked really hard for a long time to get that set up, but they might, these wings are awesome, amazing wings. But in the future, they might come out with a smaller tail wing to have it be faster turning. They might come out with a, you know, a wing in between here, or some other specific format that they're coming, and you can just pop it right onto this existing setup. So when you invest in an Armstrong, you're investing in a foil for a long term that you're not going to grow out of, and it's not going to grow out away from you. So they've future-proofed it and said, hey, these are really high-end, high-quality foils. We want to get people out there on the water, but we also want to, you know, give them the confidence that they're investing in the product and investing in the brand, that it's not going to go out of style. So if you have more questions, you can reach out to us online at realwatersports.com, or you can call us at the shop at 252-987-6000. We'll see you guys on the water for a foil session, and we are stoked with the new Armstrong stuff.